Transform with Trainsalot. Educate, empower, enlighten. Jacked versus fit. Today. Is being fat a choice? Let's find out.
My name's
Shall
John.
we?
I host the Radical Empathy podcast. I used to direct episodes.
Let's find out. Disclaimer. Yes, it is.
Looking at a fat body. Can our agreeers please step forward? Whoever feels compelled to start us off.
Well, it's unacceptable to be fat.
Okay.
That's a great start. I mean, I know why you say that, but it's one of those things where, do you know why you're saying that?
Yes, because I've been fat before.
Like, why would he not know why he's saying that?
And I lost the weight.
And unacceptable might be a strong word, but it's definitely not ideal, especially today when we have technology and all these resources that save you time. I mean, you really have no excuse as far as nutrition and what to do and how to do it.
Well, me too. I've been fat my whole life. I've been way skinnier than I am now, and I've been way heavier than I am now. Was I less valuable at one point in there?
Well, I mean, you can make an argument that you're less valuable when you're fatter because you drain resources, but that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, I mean, in general, being fat is unacceptable because you control every single morsel of food that goes into your mouth.
Okay.
And shout out to Myron. He's sharp.
It shows a lack of discipline,
He's
it shows
funny.
a lack of character, it shows a lack of temperance, and when you're fat, it's an outward manifestation of your inadequacies.
When I see somebody who's 500 or 600 pounds, all I can think of is, why do they care so little about their health that they can do this, allow themselves to gain that much weight, knowing it's taken 20, 30, 40 years off their life? I just can't imagine not wanting to live that badly.
I understand that. No, it's I've definitely felt disgusted looking at my own body and looking at other fat bodies in my life. A lot of the disgust I felt looking at people was me feeling disgusted with myself and then projecting that feeling onto other people. And I don't think anyone on either side will disagree that health is important. I know that my own mental health.
I don't know if I've ever felt disgusted. Yeah, I can't remember a time. Disgusted. I may have felt like, I'm glad I don't look like that. But is being fat a choice? It definitely is. And if someone chooses to, overeat and not take care of their health, then that's on them. I'm not going to be disgusted, and I would never promote it as regular or normal. But c'est la vie.
Was way worse when I was spending every fixate of my life trying to get smaller and trying to be thinner.
I don't think there's anyone that can look at somebody 500, 600, 700 pounds and not think, wow, what have they done? And not be disgusted. Like, how can you not? I just can't understand.
You can't believe that everyone has the
What have you done with God's creation?
same opinion, though, because unfortunately, some people have emotional stuff that happened, traumatic stuff that's happened, so you can't discount and just say, because they're fat.
Boo-hoo, man. Like, there's way worse stuff going out in the world. This is people saying, oh my God, I'm sad, I'm going to eat some ice cream. It's like, no, dude, it's like, you're fat, you made that decision, you live in the best country ever. If you live in a civilized, first world country where you have electricity, internet power, etc., you deserve to be bullied. It's ridiculous to me that we have all the...
Exactly. You deserve it. You have all the resources anyone could ever want. And to make an excuse, this gentleman clearly is choosing to. And deeper on a psychological level, believing that it is a choice, then you can think of all the reasons and excuses. Oh, this happened. I lost my job. COVID. There's all the excuses you can pull out of the hat to say why you're fat and out of shape and can't get it together, basically.
People running around. Meanwhile, people are being bombed in Gaza. It's ridiculous. We are so privileged here in the United States and in the West in general. When I see a fat person, I'm like, wow, you got the gift of life. You got the gift of being in a developed country. And you're a fat, your wife's talking about body positivity on TikTok. What the hell is going
But
on?
now you're segmenting, because not everyone thinks like that.
No, we need to bring shaming back. We need to
This
shame
guy's a
back. And then I was all right. Now I'm going to lose the weight. And then all I did was just track my calories. I ate the same food every single day.
Yeah.
Went to the gym 4 or 5 times a week, and everything was controlled, and it got done. Was it monotonous? Of course. Was it
Oh,
boring?
yeah, I agree with you there. I am naturally this way. This is with working out 4 or 5 times
That's
a week.
not true.
100% true, bro.
Man, he got skinny legs, but to say he naturally has a gut, and you're working out 4 to 5 times a week, nah.
No,
Come to the gym with
it's
me.
not.
This is me
It's not
working out.
natural at all. Because at the end of the day, if you don't lose weight, by definition, you're not.
And he's about to say you're not in a caloric deficit, which is true. If you're not losing weight, your diet, which is this gentleman, your diet is off, and you're either eating harder than you're working out, or you're just not working out as often as he said he is. He's obviously doing it for the gram.
Calorie deficit. If you're not in a calorie deficit, then you're gonna either maintain or gain weight, and that's the problem is that people don't track their calories.
And that's true, but people burn at their resting metabolic rate a different set of calories.
Doesn't matter.
Let's not get too granular.
He thought he was smart saying that. That's crazy. That's true. We all have an individual basal metabolic rate at which we burn calories. But what he neglected to say is that rate is not constant. It's not fate. It's actually based on your activity throughout the week. Either you're sedentary, either you're mild, or you're athletic, or you're David Goggins or somebody, right? And then he corrected it. That doesn't matter. It's individual, meaning you and I don't have to be at the same caloric deficit in order to lose weight. He tried to quote something that he read, thinking he's well versed in the world of fitness and health, and clearly he's not.
And now, Rogany, it's going to be one of those episodes, right? Let's bring in the disagreeers and hear from them.
Got an ad here.
Oh, why aren't they texting me back? Are they mad at me? Do they not like me anymore? I'm scared to ask for reassurance and fear that I'm gonna live.
It's ironic. It's an ad for BetterHelp. This is real therapy.
Okay, so the reason I disagreed, especially when I heard the statement, I don't think I'll ever look at somebody based on their situation and think that I'm disgusted. Like, if I see somebody that's a drug addict on the street that's homeless, that there's an opportunity, things underlying, and one of my best friends is 400 plus pounds. I've helped him lose 150, 200 pounds. He's gained it back. And I don't look at him and say, I'm disgusted, but I know how bad he wants it. And just seeing how hard he tries and then reverts, it's almost more tough for me than to be like, oh, that's disgusting, you know? And I think there's plenty of people that look at me and say, that's disgusting. I'd never want to look like that.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. Sometimes it's hard seeing people you helped progress and left to their own devices, they just forget the principles. They neglect the fundamentals. And life happens, but it's about consistency and balance. You're not disgusting if you're fat. Yeah, people may feel disgusted and they have a right to. Like he said, people may look at him. I mean, people look at bodybuilders. I look at bodybuilders today with their guts. That I'm disgusted by. But yeah, sometimes it's hard seeing people fall back.
So like I know what it feels like on the other side to like look the way I do and get people look at me like, ugh, that's gross to like have that muscle. And then to go back to that point, like you came from a fit place and like deciding to bulk, like that's a
But the opposite thing is a fat person, right? I mean, they could look like you, look like me or this gentleman, but will they? You see, a fit person can easily just get fat, just eat a lot of food over, and it wouldn't even take that long. But oppositely, could a fat person, willingly, if it was a competition, could a fat person willingly just, you know, slim down, trim down? Yeah, they could, but do they have the willpower? You see, it's different.
conscious decision to gain weight. Like you already have those habit routines and skills in order to stay in shape, and then you use those same skills you had to.
The quote from Arnold Schwarzenegger, he said, people would look at him and be disgusted and say, "Oh, I would never want to look like you." And he would reply, "Well, you could never look like me." And that's to say that you don't have the work ethic, the discipline, and you're not willing to make the sacrifice to do what I did to look like this because you're fat.
Pull back on the calories and knowledge you had.
The reason why it's just about
Eat.
This is a long episode.
I think we can help how we feel. I don't think I can choose like, oh, I just am not. We'd be sitting here and lying. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I'm always going to be honest with people. I'm disgusted. This is just how I feel.
The thing is, when you see a fat person, the reason why it's disgusting and the reason why there's so much pushback on this whole body positivity and people make fun of Lizzo, rightfully so, by the way, is because it's unattractive, it's unhealthy. Until we had this woke era, they used to put like models and attract.
And it's redundant. We don't need to say it's okay for all shapes to exist because they already do. It's not like we're on a witch hunt for fat people and we're purging them from society. That's not what's happening. And to promote obesity as normal and okay is absolutely destructive to society.
People on cover magazines that were in shape. Why? So that people can aspire to look like that. And it's healthy and it looks better in general. You look good, feel good. But when you're fat, it says a lot about you. People are going to sit there and be like, let me see if he's a good person. No, they're just going to assume that you're lazy, which you are, by the way, when you're fat. And you don't have discipline, which you are, by the way. So they're just going to assume off of what they see. That's the world they're living in.
I love how you stated a ton of assumptions. You didn't state not one fact. You just stated assumptions.
I want
What part of that was assumption? This guy clearly is offended and wants to stay fat. He doesn't want to hear the truth. He doesn't want to be forced to change his habits, to grow and develop personally. Unwilling to take criticism. Biology, science will tell you, anatomy will tell you it's unhealthy to be fat for a number of reasons. Take women, for example. Take pregnancy. When you're fat, you don't have as good as control, and your muscles aren't as tight as they should be. You're not as physically in an ideal state to give birth. Similarly, as a man, you're not in a state to fulfill your duties in society, in the home, and at work when you're overweight, or it's very hard, and people have to make certain accommodations for you, this and that. Anyway,
On to the next prompt. But we're
Can
definitely.
I say one thing? Just one question.
Yeah.
Like, let's say you knew he used to be 600 pounds, and how much do you weigh now?
I'm 384.
And he's 384. Do you see him as less disgusting knowing he's lost 220 pounds?
No, that's fantastic.
I
But
think yes.
there's still work to be done. But here's the thing, like I said before, unfortunately, human beings judge a book by its cover. It's just the world that we live in. Fat people, people that identify as 97 genders, whatever. They expect us to change our worldview for them, and that's just not how the world works. Like it's been that way. It's always going to be that way.
View. That's
Alright,
the
we-
thing that I don't get.
we
It's just the
we
world
gotta
that we're in.
reset.
Like people are gonna.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, my bad.
Now let's reset.
it's always going to be that way because it's true. There's certain things about the universe, there's certain things about human nature that are always going to be true.
Jacked men are more attractive than fat men.
I mean,
Will the agreeers please step forward?
is this even notice?
How come there's 4 guys over there? All right, so we're living in a bizarre world where people don't see the truth. Like,
Exactly.
how is it possible that they're thinking, no, being obese and unhealthy is more attractive than being fit and healthy? How is this possible?
We are going to.
You want actually know?
This is crazy.
Range of what they find attractive. When I started, how many people were commenting and DMing me and talking about how attractive I was? That it just kind of, I don't know, showed me that attraction is a lot more subjective than I thought, and people have a much wider range of what they find attractive.
People on the internet.
Than specifically a body type.
Is being jacked the most important trait for being attractive? I'd argue for guys, it'd probably be otherwise, right? I think height would be a very
Money,
Yeah.
height, fame. Like what can you bring to the table?
The number one thing is status. By far, status.
People also go after what they think they can get. So if this guy is 6'5" and extremely attractive, and it's like, well, I can't get that guy. I'm attracted to the 10 on 10 supermodel, but I'm not going to get her, so I'll be happy with the 9.9 on 10.
Just to be clear, are we speaking about women being attracted to men?
It's not just about women. It's just about attraction. What is the
general?
most attractive, in your opinion, physique for a man?
Okay, I'm speaking from like what women find attractive. So when I speak, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I'm
anybody.
sexually fluid. So my law of attraction does not.
My law of attraction. And what does sexually fluent mean? Is that what he said?
I'm
Anybody-
sexually fluid. So my law of attraction does not adhere to anyone's standards, pretty much. I'm
What does that mean? Oh, you about to.
attracted to people in general. So you could be jacked, you could be more plus size, you could be skinny, you could be whatever it is that you are. If I'm attracted to you, I'm attracted to you.
What are the traits you find most attractive?
I think the way that you carry yourself is a really
Is he talking? I feel like he's talking about. I mean, for anyone to say sexually fluent, you gotta be bi.
big thing for me. I can't date someone who lacks confidence because I feel like that seeps into other aspects of your life.
Do you mind if I jump in on the confidence thing?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, growing up, was too confident in myself, and I gained that confidence when I started losing weight. And I noticed it was me putting myself in positions to get more opportunities with women. Right now, I'm single right now, but I'm doing okay. But the confidence came from me losing weight. So, I do agree that it's a subjective kind of standpoint, but socially, I understand that physically fit men, that's just like what everyone's like. It's like what-
I don't
that's
think
what
it's as
transports.
subjective as guys are trying to say. Attraction isn't.
Right. So why didn't you step forward? He was obviously trying to hold the line, solidarity with the other jumbo guzzlers.
Voice. And there are hardwired traits that women look for in men. And what I've come to realize is that what women put out there is what they find attractive or politically correct things. Oh, he has a dad bod. He's nice. He's a good guy. The reality is that women don't respond well and favorably to these men. There's a reason why nice guys finish last is a thing. It's because when you're too nice and you kind of bend to her will, etc., girls aren't aroused by that. Girls don't want to say what they're really aroused by. Guys that are able to stand up to them. Guys that are able to tell them, well, that was a stupid comment, or hold them accountable for their stupidity when they do dumb things. This is what women find attractive because these are leadership traits.
Have any of those things happened to you, though?
Well, I mean, I've talked to almost 3,000 women, and what I've come to realize from talking to all of them is that most of the time, when they're in a comment section of TikTok, like, you're so handsome, blah, 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 will they actually go on a date and have sex with that guy? Probably not. But they say that because it's politically correct, and women tend to
Exactly.
50 pounds lighter than you are, and
They're just pleasing the crowd.
Got up this morning and I threw on my outfit. I was just like, yeah, I ate that.
Well, if you're going to talk about being attractive, etc., typically people are speaking from a romantic sense, from a heterosexual standpoint of men and women. So that's why I answered the question, because it was very broad. That's what I mean. But of course, you need to be able to look at the mirror and respect the man that you see looking back at you. A byproduct, of course, one athlete, you don't.
Did I answer the question about really?
Yeah. I was in the same boat as you, just because I feel like I don't agree with the blanket statement. Personally, for myself as a gay man, I find myself attractive. I would say like I go for guys like you as well, and I feel like I get a lot of hits on those types of guys, and I'm pretty content with.
Wait, he's pretty content with
how I navigate my attraction, and I think it goes a lot to the step.
I mean, what does that have to do with, are you more attractive or not? How you navigate your sexuality with other dudes, other fat dudes. What does that have to do with you choosing to be fat? Again, the topic, is it a choice?
And their confidence. So, like you said, so.
All right, let's go to the next prompt.
I'm pretty sure he would go after. Again, he's just trying to be politically correct because he's of a female nature, and he's just trying to, not say anything to offend anyone. He said he would go for jack guys and the fat guys, but that's a bit of a different story.
After 4 years, the Radical Empathy podcast said, need to record anything over the internet. I cannot think of a more seamless way than.
If you genuinely love how you look, great, but you can't ignore your health. Being someone who's overweight, I've been fortunate enough not to have any extreme complications other than knee pain and stuff like that.
So almost everyone agrees with this. The body positivity movement is problematic.
But I know people that, that are my size or bigger, and they have cholesterol problems, heart problems,
Let's see.
diabetes.
That's where I kind of draw the line.
Let's see what the disagreeers say.
Promoting Lizzo, making fun of Adele.
I'm necessarily part of the body positive community anymore. Personally, I would say I champion body diversity because it's all encompassing. It's inclusive of what everybody, is doing within their journey. When I expressed the desire to lose weight, another plus size individual that I used to be friends with was just like, well, I don't feel like I can share your content because I'm not sure how my followers are going to perceive this. I think it might be triggering for them and stuff like that. And my response to it was, well, if you're...
That's crazy.
championing body positivity, then what I'm doing should not be a problem.
Exactly. If it's really body positivity, it shouldn't be a problem. But really, it's fat positivity, obesity positivity. Let us be fat. Don't hold us accountable and be healthy and run up hospital bills and be a burden on society. Let us do our thing, baby.
Because the entire time that I've been advocating for people that...
And then how are you worried about your followers and someone like your friend, not your friend, but someone, I guess they know each other on Instagram, he wants to lose weight, and you say, I don't think I can support you and share your content because what he's really trying to say was he was triggered, low key, and didn't want to share his content anymore. He himself didn't want to, but he said he felt like his followers would feel triggered. He projected his feelings onto his followers as as a veil to this gentleman, as to avoid confrontation. You see, that's very feminine. Just say, I don't want to share your stuff anymore. If you're losing weight, that's not what I'm promoting. Just say that.
Look like me, or people who have been othered in any capacity in general, is that all bodies are good bodies. What we do with our body is what matters. And so body diversity is important to me because for a guy like you, or a guy like the two of you, might suffer from body dysmorphia. And that's a very real thing. You might not see yourself for what you really are. And so you're seeking unhealthy habits to achieve a goal. To get where you want to go, like you just got to give it time. Be healthy in it, in all aspects.
That doesn't even make sense. How is working out unhealthy versus not working out? He's over here trying to like give a pseudo therapy session. He sound goofy.
Aspects, like mentally, physically, you've got to find the right avenue to do what it is that you need to do for yourself.
See, I want this video. I'm gonna have to cut
You
this.
sign up to keep us fatter and stupider.
Cut
It's all
this video. I want
scam.
this
The
video
reality
too
is that
long,
big
folks.
pharma wants money, and they understand that when you're fat, you have more health problems. They understand that you're going to need insulin, you're going to need medication, etc. And they make a bunch of money on us being sick. There is no incentive to actually have you be healthy. So let's go ahead.
Exactly. They would benefit more from a community, a society of sick, unhealthy, fat individuals more than they would people who are health conscious and actually know how to remedy themselves out of sickness if they do get sick, right? And know principles of fitness and health, and because that's the real wealth. The biggest Jedi mind trick is to make you think that wealth is in your wallet or green paper, but real wealth is your health. Real wealth is muscle, longevity, wellness, and health.
Make our people fat as hell, get them in the hospitals, get them
Fat,
on
fatty,
medication,
fat.
continue to make money.
Let's see what else they got.
I was natural world
I
champion, and I
have
was
abused my
It's
body.
really great because it's true. I mean, I've been harmful to myself on both sides of this.
What do you mean, obviously?
It does a value equation, and on the top side of that equation, you have the perceived value of whatever you're trying to achieve plus the perceived chance of success. So how likely are you to, achieve said result? And on the bottom side of the equation, you divide by time and you divide by effort. Shaming doesn't work because the value equation is driven by those things. So what I think we need to do on this side of the table is to make those things.
So he's saying, basically, you can't shame someone. I'm presuming, I didn't hear the first part, but I'm willing to bet he was talking about you can't shame someone for working out if they're fat in the gym, because if they apply the principle of consistency and time, eventually they won't be in that state. So bullying and shaming is really only affects someone who overly identifies with their physical state and doesn't realize that they're the master of their universe and they can change how they look at any point in time, any point in their life. And yeah, those are usually the people who, would run and tell the manager at a gym if someone is. People who say they got shamed or bullied for their body, they overly identify with that.
Accessible, like you said, providing more value-driven information of like how to achieve a calorie deficit in a more sustainable way. How do you make it so it's not so much time? Because so many people waste time, let's say, doing so much excess cardio where strength training should be the main component. So like that's why I think adding value and decreasing time and decreasing the amount of effort is going to give you guys so much more emphasis or ability to achieve the result and more motivation to achieve said result than being like, oh, guys, there's so much misinformation.
And he talking a lot
I
on
think
this
we
one.
need to let people understand that fitness is a lot more sustainable and easier than people think it is, which is why I make fun of fat people so much, because it really is simple and it comes down to numbers and tracking your calories and being disciplined.
Yes, it is simple, and people tend to overcomplicate things. They love to overcomplicate things because, in the end, that'll also give us an excuse as to why we didn't achieve it. Oh, it was too complicated. I was doing this, I was doing this, and I was doing this. It's like no one asked you to do all that.
Going to the based on I want to be around for my daughter for as long as I possibly can be. I want to give my out until I started following other influencers that were more
Man, what's he saying?
watchers. I did Atkins, I did paleo, I did everything you could possibly imagine. And not until I started following other influencers that were more proactive based on I want to be around for my daughter for as long as I possibly can be. I want to give my body the function it needs. Like just that basic mind shift. Hey, your life can get a lot better if you do kind of focus on your health a little more instead of you're a fat piece of shit, you need to change. To me, I don't know everyone.
See, and this is a reaction you might see from many individuals in society. They need to hear things a very specific way in order to grasp the concept that it's optimal and ideal that you are fit, not just mildly or a dad bod, but you look like you're ready to defend a family at any moment, or go hunt, or pull a bark off a injured pedestrian. They need to hear things a certain way, and the two ways he just put that concept, I mean, both are still true, right? You're fat and you should be in shape, right? And at the same time, yeah, wouldn't you want to be there for your kids? Wouldn't you want to see your kids graduate? It's the same destination.
The fitness industry, but I know for me personally,
And he's not, and these people are not intelligent enough to say, well, what are they trying to tell me beyond the surface, and why is being fat looked down upon, not so much in society, but what does it really mean? Let me open up a biology book or a nutrition book. What does it really mean? He's not smart enough to say, well, what are they telling me? Maybe I don't need to attach the reason they're telling me because I'm a fat piece of S, but maybe I want to get in shape because I want to be there for my kids. He's not intelligent enough to say that to himself.
really changed my relationship with fitness when I started realizing that it was a gross benefit instead of a punishment I had to put onto myself for not being
Gym and start training.
But does it work in any other interpersonal relationship? Like,
Better talk about.
Me personally?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm speaking in general here. As
No,
far
I know,
as,
but
like,
don't
shame
speak
working,
general.
but-
Speak for yourself. Personally, when
See-
did shame change your life?
Oh, well, here's the thing. I think every man growing up has been shamed to some degree where they're like, you know what, I need to improve this. Whether they grew up
So
skinny.
You though.
Right.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was skinny, right? And then I got picked on. And I was like, okay.
Right. When has shame changed your life? That's an excellent question. Shame causes us to change for primarily because of it's such an emotional impact. It leaves such an imprint such a negative imprint that we go to great lengths, and this is why it's good for humans. Human psychology naturally finds greater motivation in avoidance of pain than seeking happiness and comfort. They're the same thing, but the mindset is different. And so to avoid shame, we all think of the cliche of a man gets their heart broke and they turn into a bodybuilder. Why? Because they feel shame and they never want that to happen again. And this is such a powerful moment happens in the mind, and they say, that's it. This is never going to happen again. No woman is going to ever leave me, right? I'm going to be so attractive. That's from shame. That's from shame. It does change you for the benefit, for your benefit, for our benefit. Shame internalized the correct way for sure is productive for society.
I'm either gonna
visit on you, made you feel like shit.
Again, it was I don't
I would
want
not
to
like to be on the other side.
Oh, no, of course I would. I'm a curious person. I have been in much more traditional, like aesthetically pleasing shape in my past.
This is, I would hope everyone would agree. Like, yeah, it's not like if you wanted to be, then you would be, right?
But I've never gotten to like your guys' standards, and of course I'm curious about anyone's life, like what it's like to walk through.
So he wasn't really fit because he looks mildly young, and I don't see him being. He never got to even this size. He said standards, but he meant like level, discipline.
Their shoes, so I don't see why I wouldn't be.
Yeah, I absolutely chose. If I could, I'd switch. So when I was my lightest weight, which was 273, I wasn't anywhere near you guys, but I had muscles. I felt really good about myself. And now that I've fallen back, I literally like almost hate life because I got somewhere, got really close, and it was out of reach. And now I'm falling back, and I got to fight again. So if I could, I absolutely would switch.
What makes it hard to, like, I don't understand, like, you were 273 feeling great. How did you get back? Like, I'm curious.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So when I
and this is, remember he brought up the old trauma events. Well, he's about to say something.
On my weight loss journey, I was very focused. Like, I can't take any outside help. Like, I gotta do this on my own. I did all the research myself. So my problem was when I would hit plateaus, it hit hard because I'm like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Why am I cutting weight? So eventually, I hit enough plateaus to where like my mentality was just breaking down.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with the prompt. Just saying, like.
So to sum that up, he was weak and unwilling to change and try new methods. That's what that meant. It's ridiculous.
I probably wouldn't go extreme, like on your side of the spectrum, so that kind of stuff. But I would like to look like Tyler. But everyone wants to look like Tyler. Tyler is the ideal for me of what I want to look like. But I mean, I wouldn't be that short too. But
I'm just gonna say it, the elephant in the room. Every fat person would want to be in shape. The problem is that they're not willing to do what's required to get in shape, hence why they are fat.
But
that was deep. And I might tend to agree.
just it's abundantly clear what you think. Like we've got it.
It's a lie.
The next prompt is your physique is in your control. Can the agreeers please step forward?
I mean, this is the most important.
So long story short, in 2018,
Okay, so everyone agrees. So yes, it is a choice.
My heaviest weight, which was 441 pounds.
I don't think that's a prompt.
I'm not gonna cuss, but
You can say it.
I was depressed as fuck, man. Like it was really hard. My weight had built like a cage around my mind. So even things that I knew were good for me, I couldn't even like go for it because my mentality was so messed up. And it got to the point to where I had someone tell me, dude, you're gonna die. And that hurt, you know? And I just flipped things around. And I think one
Look
thing
at
we haven't mentioned is
Myron, like, yo, you're fat as hell, though, you're gonna die.
accountability. I think that's the biggest thing. When I was growing up, my weight was always blamed on someone else. I was like, oh, it's my parents feeding me too much. And it's like, you can close your mouth. Like, I don't have to eat, you know? But when I finally made that change in my head, I realized that where you're at, given like the ideal circumstances, it is your choice. I am where I'm at now because I made a series of wrong choices and didn't handle myself correctly.
I mean, you deserve to be depressed if you're fat. I mean, the reality is that, see, depression is a very healthy response to inadequacy. When you're a man, you got to go out there and produce. We're not women where we can just coast on our looks and make.
Exactly. And depression, for sure, for a man, is, like he's alluding to, is a symptom of not producing, not creating, not doing anything, and being lazy, not living up to your potential. Hence why, I do what I do: educate, empower, enlighten, educate out of victimhood and limiting beliefs, empower into potential, and enlighten into our purpose. Not as men and women, but men and women together, and as human beings on this earth with unlimited creativity and potential for brilliant things. And that is this video, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching. If you did make it this far, Jubilee is a great channel for debates. I love things like this, especially this topic. Stay tuned for more. I'll link the actual video in the description. And if you do think being fat is a choice, you might want to read my book, Transformation Through Fitness. You can get it on Amazon. It is linked in the description. And it is written for beginners and athletes, let's say that, alike. You can extract value. It's about success principles that I've learned in fitness, in nutrition, throughout competing and being a trainer. Success principles in those aspects that apply to other aspects of life. See you next time.